It's the second day of hunting. Not easy for both rangers and hunters, but a smooth wolf hunt. Winter is here in the Kirov region, in full swing. Frosts are fierce, and the snow level in places is higher than the human belt. Nevertheless, such seemingly difficult conditions do not complicate the wolf's life at all. As it became clear, the wolf is far from a forest orderly, but a merciless and strong predator, who will prefer the tender meat of a calf or a female to the tough meat of an old and sick male. In addition, the life of a wolf in the fierce winter months has been greatly simplified. Paradoxically, it sounds like a competent and generous user hunts. After all, they, like wolves, are actually vitally interested in increasing the number of wild ungulates. And as we know, it is the ungulates that make up the main diet of the gray predator. And here the interests of the wolf and the man intersect. Wild boar is an ideal object for any hunting farm. It's pretty easy to breed. The wild boar is prolific, and the female detained in the farm with a good food base must ask for the same farm. For the user's hunts, this is all that is needed, so the huntsmen and farm managers are trying. New feeding grounds are being built, feed is being imported, and hunters, in turn, get the opportunity to hunt successfully and bring money to hunting users to improve their own farms. Excellent schemes. The boars are full satisfied. Families walk from their beds to the feeding grounds, trampling permanent trails in the snow that allow them to move and survive in conditions of deep snow and frost. And here comes the eternal companion and enemy of men, the wolf. A few days, out of 100 out of 5 or 6 individuals will clear the hunting grounds from the family of wild boars, cutting out all except the large ones, and in fact almost useless for hunting users of cleavers. Well, the pig is ready to bring offspring in a couple of months. It will serve as an excellent dessert for the chief surgeon of this pack of orderlies. So it was in our case. The flock, which was blissful a couple of days ago, had slaughtered a family of wild boars before that, and our task is to help this and other related farms to destroy pests. The difficulty of this hunt is that the wolf is a very strong, cunning, intelligent animal, and has quite a lot of physical strength, and can walk up to 50 kilometers through deep, loose snow overnight.
Обладает достаточно большой физической силой и может за ночь пройти по глубокому рыхлому снегу до 50 километров.
Therefore, it is very difficult to find him in the right place, which would allow him to successfully make a report, lay the wolves.
Успешно сделать оклад, зафложить волков.
Often it is necessary to spend not 2 or 3 days there, but to live. They spend a week constantly chasing wolves, monitoring where they are at one time or another, and catching them, as if on a day when they stopped at some place suitable for salary. First, go around in a big circle, then reduce the circle, all this on skis without too much noise, so as not to scare the animals. Then stretch the flags. Sometimes, even if in the morning it is possible to find wolves in some secluded place in a pack, then there is not enough day to tighten them into flags. It seems that we even have to finish this work at night, before 12, before 1 o'clock in the morning, and it is physically exhausting. And of course, it requires knowledge of a huge number of nuances, habits of this beast. Hunters conditionally divide all wolves, it's like a local name, into forest wolves and wolves, which seem to be spinning around villages, dragging dogs, walking in a landfill on a cattle burial ground, and purely forest wolves, who are very careful even to housing, do not come close to tens of kilometers. They live purely at the expense of a wild animal there, as if she were a goose. These wolves, yes, they are very much afraid of any foreign objects, especially when a solid line of flags is stretched. Such wolves sit very firmly in flags, and there have been cases that for 12 days every day they were hunted in salary, and for 12 days the wolves were in salary. That is, every day the wolves came, those who stayed shot, they did not go beyond the perimeter. Here, Well, those that are closer to housing, as a rule, are either single wolves or a small group of wolves.
Одиночные волки или небольшая группа волков.
On the one hand, it is more difficult with those. On the one hand, it is more difficult. They are used to these smells. On the other side, they are used to a person, to his footprints, traces of human activity, to transport, to these sounds of all sorts of outsiders. It is more difficult with them. They are often not afraid of flags, but on the other hand, it is easier to hunt them. They lie somewhere near the village, maybe even a small massif, and where they can be obtained just by ordinary hunting. The line of flags stretches for 5 kilometers, cutting off the wolves from the salary. We had a successful hunt the day before, but this is not the end of the hunt itself. Hunting a wolf is hard and requires constant tension. After standing for hours in the cold, the wolf appears suddenly like a shadow. The dense forest restricts the view, leaving the hunter just a couple of seconds to realize what is happening and make a shot. That's what happened to me. But the blood left on the trail after the shot spoke eloquently that the wounded wolf should not go far. On the other side of the salary, another fight was made in approximately the same conditions, and the wounded, even if they were wolves, need to be urgently reached. Huntsmen on snowmobiles promptly cut off areas of the forest where wounded wolves supposedly lay down. Then, we divide into 2 brigades and pursue them. Dmitry Pozarev and I are skiing on the trail. Help on the Yager on a snowmobile, which is ready to quickly stop the wounded predator all escape routes. As a result, we managed to drive my Pedronka through deep snow. Besides, the snowmobile helped. Our shots stopped the predator forever. Well, Dmitry Evgenyevich, I congratulate you. I'm for you. Here, at last we got it from our Pedronka with great difficulty. Of course, it was very difficult. Here, but that's it. Here we have it. Thank God that's it. The hunt with him is over, and now you can slowly move to the base and find out what's going on there. Well, guys, we dragged him, right, grab them, his, we'll put it on a snowmobile, come on, yes, perhaps, hunting a wolf to such a harmful predator and dangerous predator, which is a wolf, is the only hunt where the use of motorized vehicles is justified. In particular, the snowmobile, as we have now used, only because to get and neutralize this dangerous animal in fact. Here, on a snowmobile, it's very easy to cut through such deep snow, find traces of the entrance, exit, where it is located. And so, the good thing is that we followed the tracks, which means Leonid, who was riding a snowmobile, and Yuri. And what about your patronymic comrade? And Yuri Pavlovich, who was riding a snowmobile, managed to see us and realized that we needed help, yes, pushed us a wolf, and we got it. He was already a heavy injury, but nevertheless, that's it. I barely walked through the deep snow. Of course, he was on skis. It's unlikely that we caught up with him. Thanks to the snowmobile, the fact that he gave up the direction, we saw him walking from the forest in this direction. He walked along the isthmus along a pine tree, and we tried to intercept with Sergei. He was walking on the right, I was on the left, but in the end, they shot twice and scored. Yes, immobilized. Immobilized. All right, let's argue again, Dima. Come on. That's it, we're going. Well, let's take the gray to the base. The rapidly gathering dusk forced us to postpone the search and get the second padronka for tomorrow. The wolves are still on the parole. It started snowing in the morning. He is in the hands of the beater, who will have to cut the salary and determine in which part of it the needles are lying. Let's summarize the results of yesterday's hunting day. The first day of the wolf hunt. The hunt was organized on the basis of professionalism. The numbers were put all right. The beast went to 4 numbers, that is, 4 numbers were viewed by the beast. The wolves were shot from 2 rooms. Today, we are all getting up to our numbers where we stood. Alexander Georgievich will go to cut the salary. I ask everyone to take into account their mistakes in shooting. It was warned to shoot. Since this is a collective hunt, the shot must be responsible. People were all instructed yesterday. It is necessary to stand until the last one, until the beater comes and removes it from the room. The beater leads the hunt after the numbers have become numbers. Do you understand everything? Everyone understood. No movement. Only after the beater instructs me or someone to rearrange the numbers, then the numbers will be rearranged. In the meantime, we are all standing on our numbers, and it is necessary to stand as it should be, not to move, not to walk. The gun must be in your hands. In the meantime, each of the hunters, observing silence as much as possible, gets up to his former number. A few meters on the trampled snow and back on the skis. And here's my number. There is a dense forest ahead, a dense spruce forest behind. In the 5 hours I spent here the day before, I managed to get acquainted with every twig. And now, they remind me very eloquently of the details of the last hunt. It is impossible not to say a few words about such a hunt. Of course, it should be a familiar shotgun, allowing you to make a quick instinctive howl on short. Only buckshot is good for a wolf, no shot. Optimally, buckshot with a size of 6, as much as 0.2 of a millimeter. Here, 80 meters away, I saw a wolf run after the shots. I am standing in the place of the probable exit, because here at the Christmas tree, between a thin thick spruce, there is a path to the bathhouse, a large trench. This is one of the likely exits of the wolf and the pond. The place is bright enough, and we can see the beast well in advance. So our task is to wait if he goes, and not miss if he tries to break through. Oleg was very lucky with the review. In addition, you can sit down on a fallen pine tree. Right now, while we were walking here, while I was preparing the place, the gloves got wet. On winter hunting, it is very important to have dry clothes and spare ones. Here I am, wet, taking off my gloves, taking out good knitted woolen mittens. And now I'm going to sit in them on the spot. These little things are so at first glance, they have a very serious impact on hunting. Because in wise clothes, a person cools down very quickly, begins to freeze, and as a rule, he cannot stand there for a long time in the cold. Even though she has to stand like yesterday, for example, for 6 hours. Therefore, dry clothes are very important. Meanwhile, the huntsman determined where the beast was and cut the salary, having its area. Now, the hunters will have to move quickly and very carefully to new numbers. Now you will all go down the ski slope, quietly unbutton everyone. You will reach the cut line. Yes, they will be waiting for you, Alexei. We have wolves in that salary. Yes. Go along the flag, and the way to cool down to the right. The law. That's it. Fuck the wolf. The wolf went to the next room. Alexei shot, and in my opinion, hit. He went around the tree to look. We are not allowed to leave the place yet. We will stand and wait. Congratulations. Great shot. It doesn't happen often. Lucky on the hunt. Well, that's it. We need to withdraw from the rooms to go. Then one animal in order, with a field, as they say. But we still have to search for the second yesterday's injury. Everything is complicated by fresh snow, and therefore a snowmobile and two of the most experienced wolf people from the locals are sent out to search. There is a hope that our Podronka was finished off by the night frost. Our trappers followed the trail. Only wolf tracks can now be found on boar trails. Therefore, experienced wolf people quickly found the last predator's mark on the trail. That's our Podroli. Oh, here it is wrapped up successfully. Yes, I can't even believe that this difficult, but fascinating hunt is over. And it ended successfully. The work of the huntsman was not in vain, and the patience and perseverance of the hunters were rewarded. Everyone is tired, but such a rare, heavy, but coveted trail as a wolf has been obtained. During 2 days of hunting, our team together with the guests got 3 wolves. 2 adult wolves and 1 wolf. 1 wolf arrives, yes. Well, if on the first day, large wolves are extracted, that is, their children remain, they do not go anywhere from the flags. Usually they then get completely everything. And when large wolves are not extracted in the first days, they take their, well, let's say, children out of the flags. Well, I want to thank on behalf of the State Inspector of the district for the help in the extraction of 3 wolves. After all, we saved a lot of moose and wild boars. They would be the main ones who brought down the moose, let's say, in the first place. And these wolves would have destroyed at least a dozen before the end of the season. Wolves are about 4 to 5 years old adult wolves. Age, and in general, how long does a wolf live in time? About as much as a dog. 15, 16 years, yes. I want to thank you, your team. Here we really like the hunt. So I will not dissemble. For the first time, I have seen such a high organization, professionalism, discipline in the team, which is very important. Here we are, as it were, facing this. We know what discipline is in a team. In a team, this is very important. But the result did not wait for itself. We roughly represent the work that had to be put into finding the beast, setting its salary, and then putting it on the numbers. Of course, just take off the hat. Thank you very much. Despite the fact that wolf hunting is open all year round, and its number is steadily growing, it is not a frequent trophy. The 3 wolves we got are an indicator of the high efficiency of the last hunt. Hunting for a gray predator, as we understood, is difficult and time-consuming. Not every urban hunter is ready to stand in the cold for 5 hours in absolute silence and constant readiness for a shot. Therefore, from a commercial point of view, energy-intensive roundup hunting is not very interesting to the hunting user. And there are few specialists ready and able to organize it, and it is becoming less and less. That's how this circle closes. Last year, as if by energetic measures taken, 1 or 2 brigades of specialized wolf shooting were created in almost every district, and immediately managed to get about 200 wolf individuals in the Kiev region over the past season. I think that this year, it will be possible to get no less, but nevertheless, the number continues to grow. The food supply is also growing, the number of elk is gradually increasing within 5% per year, and the number of wild boar is also growing in the region. But God, according to the current mining rules, mining is allowed all year round. In relation to our conditions, of course, it is impossible to completely exterminate it at all. If the southern areas there somehow, here we have a minimum number at all. There are 1 or 2 per district, and then, as it were, you can easily get it using snowmobile equipment there and so on. Then the central areas, especially the northern ones. There are huge territories that are difficult to access, where the wolf feels great and it is unrealistic to exterminate it. Its number should be under strict control. Otherwise, as if uncontrolled, as if the growth of numbers can cause significant damage to the hunting economy of the region. It is known that an adult wolf needs at least 2 or 3 moose during the year in order to live. But accordingly, in a family of 8 wolves, a whole stand of these moose is needed. And that's how many wolves you get in a year, is that it? Well, in a year, when does it happen? The largest number of wolves we got was 23. When was that? Well, that was probably 8 years ago. They won the Republican prizes for the extraction of wolves. Here's another question. What other wolf hunts do you practice here, besides hunting with flags? Well, from a snowmobile it is. We shoot very rarely, and we also shoot wolves on Wabo in the fall. When they were shooting right here, also in this area on Wabo, but they didn't shoot today. Well, I see. And in general, are there many wolves in the area? Well, right now in the area within 20. Personally, as a hunter, I would really like this typical Russian hunt of ours not to die, so that hunters and huntsmen remain. They are ready to take part in it. In order not to rot, the famous red flags were sung unclaimed in ballads and books. And let the monthly romantic confrontation of enemies' companions, the wolf and the man, remain for many more years. And there is a hunt for wolves, there is a hunt.